And welcome to the first live episode of Plate Exchange presented by On the Ring Apron, sister company of Mania Club and the Champions of Hope Foundation. I'm Steve with On the Ring Apron. That's why hang on, let me see if I get the finger here. My name is right down there below it. I love that new little edition, sporting my Jada Parker merch. It's definitely been an interesting first couple of weeks of 2026, especially for our household. But we want every opportunity to be able to keep these on a more frequent basis. And it seems like every time I was on the brink of being able to do a plate exchange show, another title would change hands. We'd have to wait on more plates to arrive. And finally, so many have come in that now it is worth it to go ahead and present you with a new episode. We have a number of new champions that are getting plates for the very first time. Also, a very famous and popular former champ, also finally winning the big one. He's part of our main event segment this episode. But first, I do want to go ahead and give a quick shout out. You're going to see this go across the bottom to our official sponsor, W Energy, right here. We have the Calio Cream, which is like an orange flavored cream version. They've got these cool little tumbler bottles, whole bunch of neat stuff, but essentially energy drinks that you can be able to put together. They're not like Red Bulls or anything like that. They truly are meant for like workout stuff. They're meant for folks that are trying to get themselves into into better shape. If 2026 is the year that you want to get yourself more fit, get yourself more in place. I've lost like 7 or 8 pounds since we got started towards the later part of 2025. So I guess about 4 or 5 of those get credit. So I'm getting there, but wanted to give everybody an opportunity to also be able to experience what W has to offer. And with On the Ring Apron, we are presenting a deal where if you use the promo code OTRA, you can get 10% off your first order. Also, you help us keep the pretty lights on, then allow us to be able to do more with our show. So everybody ultimately wins in the end. So feel free if you have an opportunity and want to try something that maybe you haven't seen, because it is different than anything else I've tried. I've tried the powders, I've tried the drinks, I've tried the blending of your own vegetables and fruits and whatnot. This is very different. And it's very easy to make, very straightforward. And they come in about a dozen or 2 different flavors. So you've got fun choices to be able to go. But again, running the thing down below, you'll see it a couple of times throughout the episode. But essentially get 10% off your order. Use the promo code OTRA, and you'll get an opportunity to be able to get yours for a little bit cheaper. W.GG is their website, and then you can figure out the rest. But every opportunity here to present our newest champions, and we'd love the opportunity for you to be able to stick with us. So with that, let's go ahead and move on to our first of what is ultimately 7 different championships that have taken place in the last month since you saw us on the 24th of last month. And that is, first, we're going to go to the World Tag Team titles over on Monday Night Raw. These are actually one of 2 ones that we don't have plates yet, because even the current champions don't have the plates yet. The Usos winning the World Tag Team titles off of AJ Styles and Dragon Lee back on the final Raw of 2025. Since then, they have not defended them, nor have they even gotten any official first-time challengers yet. Also, I believe there was a story that was starting to get set up with them potentially defending the championships first against American Made. Unfortunately, that has taken a hiatus due to Jimmy Uso having to go back home. Of course, as everyone knows, definitely in this house, his wife, Trinity, otherwise known as Naomi, is pregnant and is starting to get close to her date. So we want an opportunity for her and him to both be able to be back in the States, everything to be safe, because we know that is the most important thing on his mind. So obviously we understand it. As a result, they've started to run stories where Jey Uso is going back into the running to try to repeat as Royal Rumble winner. So I don't see right now much direction in terms of where the World Tag titles are going. However, we do have the champs, at least acknowledging them here on our show, but we do not have their plates yet. The other one that also has come into play, and I haven't had an opportunity to be able to do anything with it yet, again, not because of a lack of want, but strictly just because of a lack of information, and that is the NXT Championship. The reason why that one's a big deal is because there currently is no NXT champion. Right now, the NXT title is currently vacated. The last champion was Obafemi, who won the championship at Deadline off of Ricky Saints. On December the 6th, he defended it one time at New Year's Evil against X Division champion Leon Ruff. And then since then, you haven't really seen, or excuse, I said Leon Ruff, wrong guy, wrong skinny guy, Leon Slater. Good correction, thank you so much. But after he defended it, he decided to lay his championship in the ring, thus vacating the championship. And it does seem like he is destined to move to the main roster potentially as early as this week. A lot of people are expecting potentially at the Royal Rumble. So it'll definitely be curious to see what is next for Obafemi. But right now we have no NXT champion. The first new champion to be crowned in a ladder match on February the 2nd, where we will crown our new champion. So more to come on that front. But with that being the case, we do move into the 6 championships that we are able to do something with. And the first one is going to be the Women's North American Championship on NXT, surprisingly won by Izzy Dame. Izzy Dame at New Year's Evil, the same spot we just talked about with Obafemi, would go on to win the championship off of an injured Thea Hale. Hale was originally scheduled to defend the championship in a rematch against Blake Monroe. However, Blake would attack Thea before the match and thus would lose her opportunity to be able to win back the championship. Thea, however, despite being injured and despite wanting to, doctors telling her not to do so, it was very clear that she wanted to be a fighting champion, and as a result, set up an open challenge, which ultimately was answered by Izzy Dame, who not 30 minutes before that had wrestled a match and lost to Tatum Paxley. Izzy Dame would end up overcoming the injured Thea Hale and would win the Women's North American Championship. And earlier this week, she came on her Instagram at the same time that we received them here at our house, but she was able to get her new side plates, and we are happy to put those on her belt. So grant us a moment while I go show off that belt. So first, before we do crown our new champion on here, we of course do want to give tribute to the previous champion. The last person to get the championship that we were able to get plates for was Blake Monroe. Thea Hale did hold the championship for 3 weeks. However, she was never able to actually be given plates to put on her championship. Izzy, a couple of weeks later, has gotten hers. So we will first take off the Blake Monroe plates and then show off the Izzy plates. So the first thing we did was go ahead and remove our Blake Monroe plates, and we do have those off of our respective titles now. So giving you one more opportunity. Let me get you a nice close-up of those. See if I can get my fingers out of the way. Big fat fingers. So, but very nice plates, and no doubt that Blake's going to find her way back into the championship picture again at some stage, but it does look like she's set up for a storyline with the returning Jada Parker at this stage. And with that, we do enter into our new phase, which is Izzy Dame. Izzy Dame getting an opportunity to show off her new plates, just her generic design from her time with the culling. And so this will sport our North American Women's Championship. So let's go ahead and get those on. And that puts the finishing touches on this one. The plate exchange is complete for the Women's North American Championship with our new champion, Izzy Dame, now sporting the Women's North American Championship on NXT. Her plates will sport our replica title belt until we have a new champion. How long Izzy's going to hold it, I'm not really sure, because it was run on an open challenge. She is scheduled to defend in a triple threat here in a couple of weeks. So we will see how well that goes. But for now, Izzy Dame, our new Women's North American Champion. And that completes our first exchange. The next title belt we are going to be talking about here is going to be the Women's Tag Team titles, as you can see clearly from what is behind me. The previous champions, the Kabuki Warriors, actually holding on to these championships, but they did recently change hands to the team of Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, otherwise known just simply as Rio. This happened on the Raw Netflix anniversary show, the 1-year anniversary of Monday Night Raw moving over to Netflix. And in the very first match of the evening, very first match of the calendar year for Monday Night Raw, Rhea and Io, who 6 months ago were beating the snot out of each other, now holding tag team gold, and Io getting revenge against her former friends in the Kabuki Warriors. Asuka and Kairi have claimed that they will come back and win back the tag team titles, as well as Kairi having an internal struggle right now with Asuka, trying to win back Asuka's friendship by stating she will help Asuka win the Royal Rumble match. We'll see if that pans out, but we do have new champions in the form of Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, and no shortage of challengers. So we do have their plates. We've seen them before, but never together. So now let's put them on. And of course, the first of our processes, we do want, of course, to acknowledge our previous champions. They didn't stay on here very long, but it is the team of Asuka and Kairi Sane, otherwise known as the Kabuki Warriors. Ultimately, they were successful in being able to win the women's tag titles, and they did hold them for about a month, but inevitably would lose them to the new champions, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. So we will now remove those off of this one and then put on our new ones. So as stated, the first thing we do is we remove the previous plates off. You see the Asuka plates and the Kairi Sane plates now both in our respective hands. No doubts that we're going to see one or both of them as champions again here soon enough. But that does, of course, bring on our new champions. As we said, we have seen their plates many times, both of them most recently on the World Women's Championship. But now we get to see them in the form of Tag Team Gold, and that is Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, both of their respective plates being shown here. So let me zoom in here and then zoom in here. And let's get these on. This one up here, but that goes ahead and completes this exchange for the Women's Tag Team Championships in WWE. Our new champions, Io Sky, sporting one side, and Rhea Ripley sporting the other side. The new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. They seem destined to hold these titles for a while, but no shortage of challengers, including a very early defense, actually in about an hour based on what time this goes live, as they will defend these championships against Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez of the Judgment Day. So, while it seems destined that they're going to hold them for a while, that's a team that is built to win gold. So let's see if Liv and Roxy can work together to be able to claim the title for themselves. But for now, Rhea and Io, the new women's tag champs. Segment number 3 of our 6-part plate exchange in this particular episode now keeps us in the women's division, but moves us over to Friday Night SmackDown with the Women's United States Championship. You'll notice a lot of women's titles changing hands. We do have 4 of them on this episode, in fact. But let's go ahead and move over to our Women's United States Championship, which was in the hands previously of Chelsea Green. However, we do have a new champion, and unfortunately I did not go back and make an edit to that one. But through the magical powers of editing, I have the power to be able to change that. It's now we do have the updated United States women's title information on here. As we did mention, the championship was in the hands of Chelsea Green, also one half of the AAA Mixed Tag Team Champions with Ethan Page. But that championship on the first SmackDown of the year would go back to the previous champion, Julia, after Chelsea Green would hold the title for 8 weeks. Julia once again becomes champion with the help of Kiana James, who has been in her corner every step of the way, and now once again holding singles championship gold for the second time on the main roster. So with that, we do have plates to put on. It's previous plates we've seen before, so we're not going to use up a bunch of time here. As we have seen Chelsea's plates go on and Julia's plates come off, so now we're just going to flip them. If you want, please go back and watch our most recent episode prior to this one, and it'll let you see both of those plates in visual. But let's go ahead and get Julia's plates back on our title belt. As we said, for this particular championship, the Women's United States title, as well as the next one we're going to have coming up, it is situations where the championship is changing hands to the person who most recently won it. So as we said, feel free to go back and watch our last episode so you can see the plates of the champion who's coming off of it now, which in this case is Chelsea Green. So we do have her plates here, so that way they can be visible to everybody here on our particular screen. But she was the person who won the championship against Julia, and now Julia has won it back. So we will once again acknowledge her back now as the two-time Women's United States Championship, Julia, the Beautiful Madness, holding the Women's United States Championship. Halfway home here in our first episode in 2026 of the Plate Exchange, and we once again will be staying in the women's division, this time moving back to the Red Brand Monday Night Raw, and that of the Women's Intercontinental Championship, previously held by Maxine Dupree. But once again, as we stated, was similar with the United States Championship, the championship going back to its previous holder, and that was the man, Becky Lynch, becoming the first time ever to hold the Women's Intercontinental Championship twice. She's not the best for nothing, and it's not just her saying it. Sports Illustrated says it. Bleacher Report says it. And I guess we're saying it now, too, on the show, that she is the greatest Women's Intercontinental Champion of all time due to the fact that she has now won it twice and held it longer than anyone else. Maxine's victory in November, certainly a shocker to everyone, and she would hold the championship for 7 weeks, successfully defending once against Ivy Nile. However, it would be on the Raw anniversary show that Becky would win the championship back, and then in the rematch 2 weeks later, she would fall again to Becky Lynch with an outside assist from the now heel-turned Natalya. So, Becky seems poised to be heading into WrestleMania season as the Women's Intercontinental Champion, but will it net her an opportunity to be able to proceed past WrestleMania, as I'm sure there are a lot of people who are eyeballing the Women's Intercontinental title. But for that, though, she is once again our Women's Intercontinental Champion. Similar to what we did with the Women's U.S. title, we've seen these plates come off and the new ones go back on for Maxine. Now we're just flipping them. So again, go back to our previous episode so you can be able to see how exactly that works. But for now, we're going to remove Maxine's plates off and then put Becky's back on. With that, the plates have returned back to their previous owner, those of the man, Becky Lynch, as Women's Intercontinental Champion. Previous champion, Maxine Dupree's time short, only 7 weeks, 56 days as champion, but her run as the Women's Intercontinental Champion is over. So her plates make one last appearance on our plates here before they head back into their box. And with that, we do once again honor the now two-time Women's Intercontinental Champion, that being of the man, Becky Lynch, once again holding icy gold on the red brand. And we move into our second to last championship of this particular episode in what has been a very women-centric episode up to this point, but our final two will both fall in the men's division, and more specifically, both of them on SmackDown, Blue Brand on Friday nights. And the first one is going to be the continuing movement of the United States Championship. We mentioned the Women's Championship earlier, but now the U.S. Champion has a new champion and a first-time champ, that being him, Carmelo Hayes, on the final SmackDown of 2025 in what was deemed to be the final open challenge by then-champion Ilya Dragunov. Dragunov would lose the championship to Carmelo Hayes, giving him his first singles championship on the main roster. Dragunov holding the title for 10 weeks. This, of course, coming after Sami Zayn held the championship for 7 weeks, all of which they defended the titles regularly in open challenges that represent the career of John Cena, who was retiring and now is retired from WWE. Carmelo has since continued the run and has defended the championship several times over the likes of Tommaso Ciampa and most recently Johnny Gargano. We will see how long the open challenges are going to continue to keep it, but the fact is Carmelo has had such a fantastic run up to this point at nearly a month as champion, and he also has a very unique perspective when it comes to his particular side plates. You'll see more on that in a moment, but first, let's get Ilya's plates off of it. So the first thing, as we said we do like to acknowledge the previous champion, and that was Ilya Dragunov, who was our previous champion. His first singles title since holding the NXT championship and at one point also the United Kingdom championship when it was still an actual championship to win. But first we're going to get his plates off of the U.S. title and then get Carmelo's on. So give us a moment. To begin, as we stated, we would remove the previous plates of the former champion Ilya Dragunov, so his plates now come off of our respective United States Championship. Get you a zoom in on one of those here, so that way you can see what his looked like. Very neat and very, very straightforward, but also seemingly fitting that of the Mad Dragon. And we do move into our new champion, Carmelo Hayes. And as we did state, he actually has a rare treat, especially for somebody winning a championship for the very first time, as Carmelo is one of the rare people who has actually gotten a different plate on each side. So on one hand, he does have his standard Carmelo Hayes logo plates here, with just his name and the standard Carmelo Hayes that we're used to seeing on the t-shirts and everything else. But then biggest of all, and the happiest one, I think, for a lot of people, is the fact that he also got another plate to the side that just says him with the H1M, one of a kind. I am one of one, whatever you want to call it. So inevitably, Carmelo actually scoring two different plates on his particular run as United States champion. Elias are off, Carmelo going in. Let's get these on the title belt. Tighten on that one. But with that, the second to last plate exchange of this episode is complete, and that is the crowning of the new United States champion, Carmelo Hayes, otherwise known as him. He has been champion now for almost a month, but as you can see, sporting two different side plates in his run. Carmelo Hayes on the left side for over here, right side for you, but then also the him plates on the other side. This one is a title reign that I think a lot of people have been wanting and feel like has been long deserved since his run to the main roster. Let's see how long he will hold it, especially with him defending on a regular basis in United States Championship Open Challenge matches. And with that, we have one belt to go over. It's our main event. He finally did it. Let's get to it. And we move into our final segment of this, our first Plate Exchange episode of 2026. Everybody, thank you so much who came out to support us, continue to join us. Parts of Mania Club, we love you. We appreciate you. Everybody who gave us all the love for the Cody Rhodes signing we recently get to. More on him shortly. But we do move into our final segment, and that is the reemergence of the WWE Undisputed Championship. One we've only seen twice on this channel in the last 2 years, and only 3 times total since its creation. It is now in the hands of a new champion, as overseas in Europe, we did crown a new undisputed WWE champion, and that is the Scottish Warrior, Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre becomes only the third different person and fourth champion since Roman Reigns' immaculate run as dual champion, holding this title a grand total of 735 days. And he ends the second WWE Championship run of Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, ending it on SmackDown on January 9th. The first time that SmackDown has actually had the WWE Championship changed hands on the show since Brock Lesnar's infamous 8-second victory over Kofi Kingston to win the championship almost a decade ago. But Drew McIntyre winning a 3 stages of hell match with an unlikely assist from Jacob Fatu to inevitably win 2 falls to 1 over Cody Rhodes to win the WWE Championship. It is a moment that Drew has said he has long since deserved, and a lot of the WWE universe, this guy included, agrees. He felt that when he won the WWE title the first time, going all the way back to WrestleMania 36, he felt that the moment was stolen away from him because of COVID. He had to do all of his run in front of no one or in front of television screens. He then got the very small run as champion, as the World Heavyweight Champion, winning at WrestleMania, only to drop it a few minutes later to Damian Priest, who inevitably ended up winning on his cash-in, and then feels like over time for both the world title as well as for the WWE Undisputed Championship that the moment has been taken away from him due to circumstances beyond his control. This time, though, he set everything in motion, put the field exactly the way he wanted it, and inevitably finally got the job done to win the undisputed WWE Championship off of the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. So with that, We will move into our final plate exchange for this episode, removing Cody's plates off and putting Drew's plates on the title. So as is the case with all of ours, the first thing we do is we do acknowledge the previous champion. That, as we said, is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, holding the championship for the second time with over a 100-plus day reign. He won the championship at SummerSlam, defeating John Cena in what would be his final defeat of his time as the WWE champion, thus ending the run of the Unseen 17. And Cody would hold the championship up until that SmackDown, the second one of 2026, and inevitably losing it to Drew McIntyre. No doubt the American Nightmare plates are going to reappear again at some point in the probably very near future, very well possibly on this title. But right now it does seem like he's got his sights set on the Royal Rumble, as well as also getting his rematch later this evening, if you're watching this live, against Jacob Fatu on Saturday night's main event. But first, let's get his plates off. We now have the Cody Rhodes plates completely removed off of our WWE Undisputed Championship. One more look at those. Again, probably unlikely that these are going to stay off for very long, but they spent nearly a year on the championship belt when he defeated Roman Reigns. They didn't stay off the title for more than just slightly over 100 days when John Cena won it, and now Cody's plates inevitably coming off. And with that, we do move, of course, into the new champion, and deciding he wanted to go a bit old school with his plates, as Drew McIntyre going back to the plates that he held when he was the WWE champion during COVID. He hasn't used this particular McIntyre logo in quite some time. However, it is somewhat fitting because he does feel like his run as champion had to happen in front of nobody, or at least in front of TV screens. And so he felt this moment was due. He also felt that on multiple occasions for both the world title and the WWE title against people like CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Damian Priest, he did feel like his moments were taken away from him by things beyond his control. But now he holds the gold. Finally, I think a lot of people in the WWE universe, like or hate, feel this is deserved. So let's put his championship plates on our undisputed WWE title belt. And with that, the final plate exchange of this particular episode is complete, and that is the crowning of a new, undisputed WWE World Champion, and that is now the Scottish Warrior, Drew McIntyre, winning this title for the third time in his career, but both of the previous times that he won it, as he has made mention more times than we can count, he was during COVID and was unable to truly appreciate the crowd noise and the crowd expectation that he was hopeful for that of a new champion. But, everybody believes that, Drew is well-deserving. I certainly do. And now it's time to give him his flowers and also send Cody Rhodes onto a path that will allow him to be able to tell different stories than just having to hold the championship. This gives this a whole new direction, and hopefully one that we are going to enjoy as members of the WWE universe. So with that does bring it into our first plate exchange of 2026. Everybody who joined us, thank you so much. Thank you for the love and support. Once again, one last time, a shout out to our official sponsor, W Energy, providing you with specific energies and everything else to help you meet those 2026 resolutions. We do have a promo code that's running across the bottom. If you use the promo code OTRA during checkout, you get 10% off. You help us keep our lights on. You're promoting a set of folks that just want to be successful while getting to chat wrestling, and at the same time also get to continue to do what we enjoy every single day, and that is being part of the WWE universe and part of Mania Club, just like most of you. If you're not part of Mania Club, what are you waiting for? There's so much to do and so much fun to be a part of, while at the same time also getting to contribute to so many great causes as we use our platform to bring awareness to those that do not have as much or much ability to be able to make and enact change. When I first joined up with Mania Club, we only had about 1,800 people. We now are over 200,000 strong. So it has been one of the OGs from the very beginning. I love you guys at Mania Club for being a part of all of this. But either way, as I said, promote a good cause, help us out here. You can go to w.gg, use the promo code OTRA, OTRA, and you get 10% off your order. But with that, as we said, it does bring it into our episode. We are airing this just before Saturday night's main event. So if you don't have Peacock, go get it. And make sure you take the time to enjoy Saturday night's main event for later this evening. We definitely want every opportunity for everyone to get to be a part of the experience and get to be a part of everything that's WWE. It is a thorough part of our life. Our children run off of this. And we appreciate and love every single one of you for being a part of it. The only other thing to note, and this comes from me personally, those of you who have sent me messages over the last several weeks concerning, how I personally have been. I'm doing okay. I have been better, but I am doing okay. It's nothing I'm ready to talk about quite yet. There is some other factors that I want to make sure are fully in place, and I want to make sure that everything is smooth and ready to go before I sit here and make any mention of it. But for those of you who have reached out to me, thank you so much. I promise your messages are heard. Your messages are appreciated. I love every one of you for taking the time to check on me, to check on Alyssa, to check on Kia. There's a lot going on in our world over here that has absolutely nothing to do with wrestling. And yet this is kind of our escape, as it is for so many others. But I want to make sure you are aware that I'm doing okay and that this platform is going to be used to talk about what is going on at the proper time, because I do feel like a bit of awareness to what we are having to deal with is very important. But that is to come at a later time. But until then, I ask again that you continue to remain patient. I promise you I will answer when the time is right. But for now, we're happy. We're talking wrestling. This made me smile every step of the way. I think you saw it on my face because it gave me a chance to kind of escape from what I'm dealing with for a little while. And once again, I appreciate and love every one of you. Also, if you're watching this live, flip over to Peacock. Get ready to enjoy Saturday night's main event. And if you're watching this later, I hope you enjoyed the episode and our new plates going with our new champions. We do plate exchange, when a number of plates and champions are readily available to where we feel like it would fill about a 30 to 45 minute episode. This one is running about 33-ish minutes right now. But with that, we are going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you one more time for everything that you guys do. We hope that even if it's just for a few minutes, that we can bring some happiness and some smiles to y'all's world. Enjoy Saturday night's main event, and I'll catch you on the next time. I am Steve with On the Ring Apron. You guys take care of yourselves and have a great one.